I'm Victoria. I'm Vanessa. Yeah, it's okay if you can't tell us apart. I guess we would call it Twingineering. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back
to our
fourth episode. If you've been following along, thank you so much. Maybe we'll do something special for the fifth one. I don't know why I said that. We have not discussed this, but anyways.
Yeah, we really have nothing planned.
If you're new here, my name is Vanessa.
I'm Victoria.
And welcome. We like to use these podcast episode videos to just talk about our experiences and give some advice where we can. So what we like to do first, we like to give some weekly highs and weekly lows. So let's go ahead and get started. Victoria, do you want to go first? That's okay. I can go first. So let's just start with the lows and then we'll bring it up. So for me, this past week and also this past week, I haven't had much time for myself, and I feel like I like reading or going to the gym or like as much sleep as I usually do, that I try to schedule. So I have definitely felt more tired than usual, and I think self-time is very important, so it kind of sucks that I haven't had time to do that, but I'm gonna really make an effort to have some me time this week. So yeah. It's a low for you, Victoria.
Oh, for me, I was supposed to be in San Diego yesterday. Like, it was going to be a whole day thing, but it was like raining really hard here in the valley, SoCal. So didn't end up going. So yeah, now we have to reschedule.
That's okay. It'll happen. Yeah, so let's bring up the energy. So some weekly highs. Yesterday I signed up for a piano class, and my first one is on Thursday, and I'm really excited because I've been wanting to learn how to play the piano for a long time, and now's my chance. So I'm taking song requests. Not really.
Cool. For me, I started to read. Sorry, I started reading a new book. It's called "You Sound Like a White Girl." Yeah, I'm trying to read it like every night. It's been a busy week, but I mean, at least I'm starting a new book. I mean, I kind of told you about another book I was reading, and that was taking me a little longer, but we're gonna try to get through this one. So yeah, new books.
Stay reading. Anyways.
Read your words.
Yeah, true. Learn some words. So also what we like to do is shout out or like give you some engineering news / like an important article discussion. So Victoria, take it away.
ILEW is International Latina Engineers Week. And yeah, they're gonna be having spring scholarships. So we will definitely attach that link so that you can, subscribe to their emails, stay updated, and then hopefully sign up for their scholarships. Yeah, sorry, what I said, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, we'll just like also post an image of it for like 2 seconds or 3 seconds in this video, of what that information is, but we'll also put the link in our caption. So
yeah.
So on to this week's episode theme. We're gonna do a resources part 2, and this is more specifically towards like financial resources. So we're gonna talk about Calfresh, financial aid, scholarships, and the Pantry. So, Victoria, did you want to start or no?
Sure. Yeah, so we'll work backwards. Just because I feel like Calfresh and Calfresh and financial aid has like a lot more. So we'll start with the pantry. Um, so I know that the pantry is at specifically we know like of the one at UC Davis, but there may be some at like different universities where they give away or offer like free food, snacks to the students. Um I know that groceries can be a burden sometimes, like to have to pay for it, especially if you are going to school or live in a more in an area where, groceries are more expensive than in other areas. So, um yeah, definitely like look out for that. I feel like that's really helpful, especially if you're just like starving and can't afford anything at the moment. I've been there. So, yeah. Um Vanessa, do you have anything to add to that?
Um, I was just gonna say, like, if you do, your school, university does offer that option, I would say to definitely look into it. I know sometimes, um, they have like a center where you can go every day, or maybe there's just only like a certain number of days throughout the week. So, definitely look into that and use your resources where you can, especially when it comes to free food, because who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, that's all I had to say about that.
Okay. Cool, thanks. Good information. Okay.
Um, so we'll move on to the next topic, which is scholarships. Um, so Victoria and I made, we tried to make an effort during college to apply to as many scholarships as we could, because, free money. Um, and we could just bring up some of the ones that we know. I know during when we were in college, some of the organizations on campus also do offer scholarships, like SWE, the Society of Women Engineers. Sometimes the departments that you're in will also offer scholarships. So definitely apply to any and all that you hear about. So usually you have to write like an essay or maybe like a paragraph about something, but definitely put in the effort because your chances of getting the scholarship like could be very high, especially if like some people don't want to put in the effort and write a paper. Um, maybe you're the only one. There you go, free money. But
Yeah.
some other ones, one that I've mentioned this throughout a couple of videos, but it's just the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Their process is I would say longer. It probably took like a year, but those scholarships did help me, and I really am thankful for that money. I would say that, and then also the ILEW ones as well. And we'll put the link up like we mentioned, so you can look into those as well. I'm trying to think of what other scholarships have I applied for.
In our department specifically, like the electrical computer engineering department at UC Davis, there was a Texas Instruments scholarship, that we applied to. We kind of we had a prompt, we had to write, um, it wasn't an essay, it was more like paragraphs, like different questions you had to answer. And then both of us received that one. So, yeah, that's an example. Um, we also offered one for the organization that we started,
Oh yeah.
Coffee. So the Club of Future Female Electrical Engineers. We gave away a few scholarships. We tried to give away like one or two our junior and senior year. So definitely like look out for that. As long as you're like involved and like, you do want our goal with that was to give anyone who was in need. I really wish we could have given it to everyone, but at the time we just didn't have the funds. So apply to that as well. Um,
Some companies will also like if they have partnerships or like sponsor or work with your university, they will also give scholarships to people. So definitely look into that within your department or um, like the college as well.
yeah, and sometimes the university itself gives away like these bigger scholarships. So look into that. I'm trying to think of like the organization that gave this away, but usually it comes in like the emails that they send to like the whole school. So um definitely look into that. I think the more like email lists you sign up for, the more information you're going to get about like scholarships, because a lot of the organizations put that information in there. I know sometimes like a million emails can be annoying, but that's one of the ways where you can get more information about more scholarships. And also on social media as well, like um if you follow different engineering accounts, or even like scholarships or like organizations, they will also post different scholarship opportunities. Like I know I do that sometimes, so do that as well. That's how um I looked for scholarships also. Sometimes I would forget to apply, but at least you know about them. Um yeah, those are my tips
Yeah,
for now.
definitely look into organizations, the companies, and like within your department. Start
Mhm.
uh in your uh area around you.
Yeah, start like locally, I guess.
Yeah. Um, okay, so moving on to financial aid, and then from this stems Calfresh. So I'm sure a lot of people know about financial aid, FAFSA. Um, if you do have financial aid, then you receive, okay, if you do have financial aid, you have the possibility of qualifying for Calfresh. And the reason why Victoria and I did qualify was because we received the Cal grant, and because we qualified for the Cal grant and we received it. And that's one way of how to get Calfresh. There are different on the Calfresh website. Um, they do have a list of the requirements and like qualifications. So if you're wondering like, oh, do I qualify? You could definitely look into that.
Yeah.
And Calfresh kept me eating throughout college. So I would definitely apply for that. The application is pretty easy. And I think you usually receive your card within like 2 weeks or so. So yeah, you receive the way that works is like you receive money on this card every month to pay for your groceries. And definitely push you to go out and do that and cook for yourself. It's basically an EBT card. So if you don't know about it, now you do. We'll also provide the link to the CalFresh website. And then if you do want to apply for it, you can call your local CalFresh center. And maybe if you have questions, you can also call. The application also is also available on the website. And yeah, do you have anything to add, Victoria?
Yeah, so I think you might have to apply through like
Oh yeah,
mybenefits.org. That's the website. And even if you feel like you won't get anything, like sometimes they'll give you like even a small amount. So definitely apply, like even if you get rejected in the end, because you never know, like maybe you won't get rejected and then you're gonna start receiving money. Um, yeah, I definitely think like that's what saved me and Vanessa. And then like especially if you're like a full-time student, um, I mean obviously you have to like show proof. Um, oh, but one thing, if you are dorming and you receive like the the food plan, the meal plans, you will not receive CalFresh because you're like given food, I guess. Like I think we were getting like the 5-day meal plan. And so
out
it's
of
like,
seven
but
days.
yeah, out of 7 days. And I mean, yeah, that's how many days are in a week. Anyways, and so we're like, well, we need to figure out what we're gonna do for like the other 2 days, like spending money on food, you know? Yeah, anyways, we
So
had to spend
starved.
money on food, so or like microwavable Trader Joe's kind of things. So
TJ's.
yeah, so that's one thing to know. Um, But otherwise I don't see a reason why you shouldn't apply.
And why you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Also, if anyone does have questions about the application, feel free to reach out. We've done it before, so don't be afraid to ask, but we will provide the link for that.
Yeah, and you do have to provide um I think every 6 months, just like some form of proof that like you're still eligible to receive benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff that I had to submit was like how much rent I was paying, like if I'm only providing for myself, if I'm still a student, things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, like Vanessa said, like even if you're like in the middle of the process and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do next, um, definitely reach out. Like don't be afraid to reach out. Um, we've been there. I was like, I don't want to do something wrong and then I receive them. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we are
So,
your resources.
yeah. So now you know if you didn't. I know a lot of people do apply for Calfresh and get their benefits in college, especially if they're like first gen or they're just not financially able to support themselves and to get food as well. So yeah, definitely go ahead and do that. Um, I guess now we can move on to the submitted questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so we did have a submitted question, and I'm just gonna read it.
It was
uh,
from um anonymous person. Um, so we're just gonna say that Beyonce submitted this question, and so you should submit questions.
yeah. So as a Latina in a male slash white dominated field, how do you connect with your coworkers? Question mark. What advice do you have for someone who has trouble feeling like they don't fit in and can't really make any friends or form connections with people at work? This is a really good question.
It is a
Um,
good question.
definitely a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
This is
and
about to
then
be a
this
therapy session.
I think like also this can also apply to like school, also like school environments. It doesn't
Yeah,
just have to be work, I think, but yeah,
I mean, yeah, but considering,
we are
um,
working.
yeah. So, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Um, Let me reread the question. Can
Okay.
you repeat the question, please? Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh,
I have it.
do you need me to? Oh,
No, I was just like, it was a joke.
sorry, I didn't get it. Yeah.
How do I connect? Um,
To LinkedIn? No.
I know. Um, but anyways, I try to ask questions, um, about my coworkers. Like, I remember I didn't even know like where to start, and so I was like, I literally asked the engineer that I work with, like, oh, so do you prefer like cold weather or warm weather? And then he was like, oh, it doesn't really matter. And I was like,
Care to elaborate?
well, yeah. I was like, okay. I mean, sometimes it can be like a little uncomfortable, especially because like if you don't know much about these people, like, I mean, trust me, like I've been there. I feel like that emoji who just like stands there, like she's just like straight, like that's me. But I mean, yeah. So I would say like I tend to ask questions. Um, and then like if they ask me something, like I usually tend to like ask the same question back, just so like yeah, they're like learning something about me. Like even if it's just how are you doing? Like I'll do the same, just like start a conversation, and then so I can kind of feel like what kind of person they are. Like you know,
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps, but yeah.
Yeah. I think when you're like starting off, um, you do like all you can do is try to ask about their lives. I know for me, like I work with a lot of older white men. And they most likely have wives and families.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Same.
like here and there it might not be, but you can ask them about like, oh, their family, their kids, did they grow up in this certain area or are they always from here? I usually do ask that because even though the answer usually tends to be yes, because like I'm not from Ohio. So then like when I tell them that I'm not from here, if they don't know already, where I'm from, then from there it's like it kind of stems questions like, girl, why'd you move from California? Um, but yeah, definitely ask about like maybe their interests as well. It is a little difficult at first, and I can be awkward sometimes when the anxiety hits, and I'm like, oh man, I have to talk to this older like man, or also just like men in general. Like as a woman, you have to like figure out on ways that you can relate, and I think it also helps if you try to find similar interests. Um, Also, it's a sense of humor. Having the same sense of humor can help, but that's also kind of hard to gauge unless like you make them laugh once or twice. Then it's like that they think you're funny or not. I know one time I tried to like say a joke, and then the guy I was talking to didn't laugh, and I was like, okay. But then that's how you know what I mean? Like I can't
Yeah.
use these types of jokes with this person in the future. Um, but yeah, I would say yeah, to connect with them, you just have to have a conversation with them, even if you necessarily like are hesitant at first, because I know I was, and you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna say to this person. Just like force yourself into these environments and push yourself to get to know a person. Um, because then like it's also practice for like the next time you have to talk to a person you don't know. So I hope that helped for that one.
Yeah. I think that was a lot more than what I had to say. Uh, Okay, so the next question, or the next part of the question was, what advice do you have for someone who has trouble feeling like they don't fit in and can't really make any friends or form connections with people at work? Wow, that's very
Yeah.
specific.
Um, so I'll start. Yeah. I think the first couple of months when I moved out here, so one, it was hard for me to, I guess, fit in with people at work and then also outside of work. So it was an adjustment. I think one thing that I did was, like I mentioned when I was answering the other question, but to force myself to talk to people. So I was like, when I first started, I was pretty intimidated because I didn't know what to expect in this like an industry, and then also me being Latina and seeing no other Latina, and it's like I can't like growing up in a area where like the minorities were the majority, and then coming here was like really different. But I forced myself to go up to like a group of guys, um, which I have always been scared of because like one, it's a group, two, they're guys. Like, what am I gonna say? Um, but I just sat with them at lunch one time. Like, I made the effort to be like, oh hey, like, is anyone sitting here? And I know that's like maybe some people are like, oh, it's not that hard, but like internally, I was dying. Like, I was shaking. I mean, they probably couldn't tell, but like, I was like, but yeah, so I decided to sit with them, and then the first encounter they were talking about cars, and I was like, I cannot contribute to this conversation even though I do work for Honda and I've learned a lot. At the time I was like, oh man, like maybe it was the wrong day to be courageous. But um yeah, like they were really nice, and it was better than I expected because they did like ask me about myself, and I also started asking them about like where they were from, and like why they chose to work there, and like those are the kind of questions that you can ask. And then that was like the first step that I took. And then after that, you kind of just have to force yourself to keep doing that and really like asking questions about other people. Um, I think if I didn't tell myself to just like go and sit with them, then I would probably still be like I probably wouldn't know as many people as I do now. I used to sit by myself, and like that's not necessarily a problem, you know. Sometimes I'll like choose to sit with myself now because listening to men all day is you can get tired. Um, but um, yeah, I would say to just really try to get to know a person, and then maybe you once you do talk to them, you can figure out like, oh, this person would be good as a friend, or maybe like just a coworker or just a peer. You know what I mean? And then you can also try to, if you do have like similar interests with the person, you can also say like, oh, like maybe we should do something on the weekend, or um, yeah, you could do that. Definitely reach out to people, try to make friends, and show love all around. And also, I laugh too much, and I think people like that. I laugh because they think they're funny, and I have a weird sense of humor, so they like that they think they're funny.
Yeah. Everyone likes feeling good about themselves. Um, yeah, so I think like I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Like I started this job like the beginning of the year. So, I mean, yeah, like definitely just asking more questions like to different people. Um, but at the same time, like I also don't want to encourage you like forcing relationships like with your coworkers. Like sometimes it's like, you know, just want to go work and leave. Like that's totally okay. I mean, um yeah. I lost my train of thought. Wait. Okay, so like if like if you go up to someone and like you're not really like feeling the vibe, like okay, at least you tried and then just like never go up to them again unless you have to for work, and like that's totally okay. You're gonna meet people like you don't like and that don't like you at some point, but obviously you have to like get along with them and just kind of like just form that like work relationship, like the professional relationship. But yeah, I would say like as long as you like tried, that's the best you can do. And that's what I'm just telling myself. I'm
Yeah.
also talking to myself when I say this. Thankfully like I get along with a lot of my coworkers, but I have yet to meet someone my age, um, who works at my company. There's like other labs that I go to and I meet like other people that are also my age, but I only see them for like a day of the week. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a regular encounter. So yeah. Also though, if your company has like or university, if they have some sort of what are they called? Like the groups?
Resources. Yeah, like
Resource groups. Yeah. My
yeah.
company doesn't have that, but you can definitely lean on those.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Yeah, I'll just elaborate a little bit. So Honda does have like business resource groups, and I think I mentioned this in another video, but they're kind of like an equivalent of like clubs in college, but they're like just communities that anyone can join. I joined one for it's called Latino Dreams in Action, and it's like to push Latinos in like within Honda towards like success with a lot of like events, resources and all that stuff. So that was a way that I also met other people. And also Honda also does like volunteering events, and if you do those events, you can meet other people. So definitely, if your company has opportunities for you to network or just meet other people, I would say go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think any experiences is valuable. You'll definitely learn something, and you'll definitely meet new people.
Yeah.
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 Also, just to add on to when Victoria was saying like, oh, you don't want to like force relationships, and um, yeah, you can definitely, like I said, like gauge who like you want to be like more friends with, or maybe like just a coworker. But I definitely think like making connections at work will make your work
Yeah.
more enjoyable. Don't be so serious all the time. Well, every work environment is different. But like I know for me, like at first I thought everything was gonna be like so like professional all the time. But it's kind of nice that the team that I work with do have like a sense of humor, or will tell a story or like crack a joke here and there. And I think it just makes your work environment a little better and more easygoing. So definitely make yourself feel comfortable and be yourself, but also know that you're in a work environment.
Yeah. Um, I'm just like putting my thumbs up for that because I would just repeat what you say if I say add on. So,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah. Hopefully that answers your question, Beyonce. If it doesn't, please feel free to reach back out.
Yeah. But that is all we have for today. Please submit a question if you have any, or like you want to know fun fact about us, just ask. But
Yeah, like comments, like it doesn't even have to be like related to our like experience in engineering, like our journey. It doesn't have to be serious, like you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be serious all the time. We
doesn't
like
have
to
to be
have fun.
serious. Like
We
doesn't
literally
have
laugh at everything. Yeah.
like a really yeah. Um, but yeah, so thank you if you've made it this far. We really appreciate your support. Um, we really do try to provide you with information and resources and the help that we can give you. And we hope that you take something out of these videos and
Definitely.
you do your part as well. So visit our website. We will post a link on our caption as well. Follow us on social media and stay tuned for our next episode. We do upload an episode every other Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, because she's in Pacific, I'm in Eastern.
Yeah.
And yeah. Uh yeah. Also, I just said to ask us questions, but you can do that on our contact tab on our website also.
Yeah.
And Victoria, do you want to talk about the Latingeniera?
Yes. Just one quick comment on that. Like when you ask us questions, feel free to like do it on our website, send us a DM, send us an email, whatever.
Message
You know what
me
I
if you
mean?
have my number. Call me,
Yeah,
tweet me.
that too. Yeah, so on our website, yeah, as you can see, Vanessa has it on. We also have a Latingeniera tab, and what that's gonna take you to is a Redbubble page with different designs for Latingeniera, and I did. I created that and started making designs while I was in the job search, and the goal with this is to raise enough money to later donate the funds and the proceeds, everything that I get from that to help um and just provide for Latinas and minorities in engineering. So whether that be like in the form of a scholarship, someone who's in need, supplies, things like that. So yeah, please support, buy something, share the post. I'm definitely gonna be trying to I'm definitely going to be trying to post about it a little bit more, especially when I upload new designs. I made it my goal to upload a new design every month just so I can stay like consistent with that. So definitely look out for that. Yeah, and support Latinas and minorities in engineering, because it's questionable if you don't. So, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? That means you don't support us. So, and then what does that say? I'm just kidding.
And then you need to do some internal evaluation.
Right, exactly. I mean, no, like, I mean, obviously, like, money can be tight. So, just like share the post that I made about it, share some designs.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend.
Yeah, there's different ways to support guys. You don't have to buy all the time, even though that would be great, but I know sometimes it can be hard out here. So,
Very true.
yeah, that was it.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you all for tuning in and watching our fourth episode. And we will see you again for the fifth one.
Yes. Also, if you have suggestions on what you'd like us to talk about, send us a comment. Let us know. Or else we're gonna go off of what we want to talk about. Um, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
again.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.
How do I stop?